It's time to see the bridesmaids find it out. IHC definitely having had a few more chances to get things done, but never in the ESL Pro League, and that's what these two teams are hoping to try and keep fighting for. NKT picking out Inferno, and IHC more than happy to have Ancient as their first pick.
Yeah, double nade to start off this round here from NKT as well. They were hoping that someone would go for the peak, and Techno decided to challenge late, and dobu will punish. NKT finding the opening over at B will incentivize them to continue forward into this bomb site, but Blitz already has a flash primed for Cabal to maybe make this a little easier, but he's getting team flashed in and amongst it, but still able to get kills.
Grenades lining up, some decent damage could be coming through, but they're not actually on the bomb site yet. Didn't wait long enough for it. Timing missed out by just a small wee bit. All the retake attempt will be through CT. No one actually present on Banana, and the CT side are stalling things out a fair bit, hoping that Blitz can get something done in the meanwhile. Blitz is so sneaky, could definitely drop the bomb, but he's missing his shots, and Hurkas is able to drop down as a result of it. IHC will be ruining the day. They didn't kill Blitz.
Sign finally going to punch in those digits, and score has been dealt with in spawn, so Annihilation is all that's left. He had to bounce between the A and the B bomb site because they weren't sure whether it was going to be the final destination or not. This 1-on-3 is very difficult. Too much time will be elapsed if he decides to play this slow, and Annihilation has definitely been categorically a faster member, but circumstances will disallow him from getting into this round. Great call here from NKT. They managed to beat past the defenses initially, and then just stop and froze, and they made IHC really fester in the idea that it could have been an A play.
Sorry, I just have a quick question. Am I just criminally under-prepped for this match, or is there a player called My Rules on NKT who I've never seen before?
That is the newly added coach. Used to be a player that played with Kents back in the day, on Alpha Red, and even the teams prior to that.
So just been taken out.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
MYM?
it's just like
okay. The funny
maybe
thing
he just decided that the coach that we're going to sign on is in fact the player that will replace me for this game.
Well, the funny thing is he might be able to give Urkas a little bit more to work with as well. Obviously, Urkas are fragging IGL like we said before, but right now it's a 1-for-1 trade out in Banana. They're not too happy about. The funnier thing is, I was just telling Michael off air as we wait for Annihilation's scout before I make the points, smoke down. I was just telling Michael off air, yeah, we're not going to need to talk about their new coach. He just got signed, dude. Who cares? It's like he's not had time to make an impact on the team. And then Michael's like, I'll work it in somehow. Michael's literally kicked Kent.
My bad.
Oh no, come on, Michael was a good guy.
This is part of the reason we maybe wouldn't have brought it up is because this is his first venture into coaching. He's been a player for most of his career. I think it's taken like a 2-year hiatus from any real competition. So to have him enter into NKT and in a circumstance where he's standing in for them is a tall order.
That too against IHC. Score has been taken down 9 to be the eliminator, and it is a 2-on-4 blitz, maybe with an opportunity to be had, but once again, not what you expect from Blitz, man. This is a player who's generally a pretty laser beam man, and now 2 rounds in a row where a player is facing away from him, and all he needs is a quick headshot with a pistol. Can't get it.
Yeah, just nice slow work of Banana from NKT against this force buy. They weren't intimidated. See, a little respect there given from Zine. Constantly pre-firing, was scared Annihilation might just find the swing, but not to be. 3 survives here for NKT, and the B successes will continue to roll on. I imagine these SMGs are destined for more Banana control.
Could be destined for money. That's what they're looking for. No armor on the CT side, and they are just going to be going hunting. dobu, initial peek does reveal the fact that there's multiple people over in the brackets cross area. Could be boiler, could be anywhere else. The double nades sent out will be making sure they're nowhere inside apartments.
just looking back at it. Yeah, he worked with these guys. He worked with Kent for some 4 years, I think.
He didn't play in the
guy to
previous match,
NSPR.
right? Like, Kent was in Lord Rabbit against Lord Rabbit, right? Because I swear he was.
Yes, I believe he was.
Okay.
So this appears to be an emergency substitution.
Well, hopefully he can make it work. This is obviously one of the biggest stages possible. No room for error either. It's a little bit reminiscent of when poor Alan Hender thought he'd have to stand in at the RMR for endpoint.
Yeah, that was certainly going to be something. Didn't end up happening.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fortunately for all of us.
Could have been made for some good content, but
not for him. Well,
isn't that a coach's dream in some way?
it's definitely something I have fun playing around with in my head, but otherwise I feel like in a really important elimination match, less so.
Yeah.
A lot less so.
I mean, just the idea that you maybe don't go in and completely bottle it.
Well,
if you played serviceably or even well, in fact.
Like, that's like everyone who's ever held a basketball. You're thinking about getting a dunk off, doesn't mean you're going to be able to raise it, right?
I can only jump so high. Also been quite a calm start here for NKT. They've been losing a couple of numbers, but they've almost always been in round-winning positions already by that point. So now that IHC have moved into a full buy, it's time to up the intensity, see if they can actually put some rounds on board and actually open up these rounds with advantages. So far, they've been on the receiving end of a lot of opening duels, and now with the Annihilation AWP, I imagine they'll want to instigate.
He is getting very aggressive over towards the apartment side, but no one actually revealing themselves to him at all. XigN, generally the veteran lurk, but he's just missed the timing. Annihilation's already moved past him, so any attempt to actually retreat over here will be met by a off shot, and that is exactly what ends up happening. XigN's demise clears things up a little bit more towards the A side, and Score wants to get exploratory, knows there's no one on the left side, but has to be very careful. There's actually a nice timing for Myros to have found. He is moving all the way in, but decides against getting apartments control, and that'll be his death guarantee. Score doesn't shoot at him. Myros able to force him back.
Yeah, just wanting to escape that situation, make sure that he didn't give over the man advantage. IHC are playing more turtled inside of the sites. So making sure that they were all on the same page on that. If Score had lingered, maybe he gets traded and they lose one of those numbers on A, which can be important. You typically want 3 players in position. Timely smoke. NKT were just about to execute on this B bomb site, and now they'll have to run through the smoke themselves if they want to make use of this utility. The spam from 9 is right on point, and Cabal falls as well. So Annihilation, he thought he might have had enough time to get round, but dobu jumping through the smoke, and IHC's defense crumbles.
I appreciate the ostrich strategy from Techno, but it didn't work for the ostriches either.
I mean, I thought the timing on the smoke was perfect, but then he sort of nestles in the corner, and the 9 spam, I mean, it couldn't have been better placed.
Oh, no, working around those smokes perfectly. That's just such a good round from NKT to have executed, taking advantage of the fact that they know there's 2 players in apartments. Obviously, initially, Annihilation had revealed himself there, and then, you know, realistically, you're not going to have an Opera playing close inside bedroom to the corner. That's just not a particularly good angle for it. So you can generally reasonably assume 2 players aggressively in apartments. As long as we can make sure they're backing off, their rotations are going to be slow. Let's execute onto the bomb site. And, you know, to what you're saying, IHC thought they had space because of that timing on the smoke. But then when you die through it, less so.
It's also, I mean, we'll bring this up as a point as well, because at the early stages of NKT coming back into it, you know, Urkas took a bit of a hiatus from Counter-Strike, and when he came in and replaced Impression, I think it was noticeable that their mid-rounding looked considerably weaker. Some of the stars as well, I think, were struggling to get engaged. So if they're able to hit good form against IHC, no less, that would certainly do well to sort of quell the flames of people going, oh, well, Urkast first impression, the calling is different. How are they ever going to adjust in time? Because this is a predominantly now Mongolian roster, but they do have to communicate in English because not all of them are Mongolian. And Urkast is taking on some and shouldering a lot of the responsibilities for this team's success, as well as the failures. You know, they've been in a bit of a rough period. We were talking about how they've maybe descended through the rankings, sometimes because they're not in games that are, you know, covered by HLTV, but they're also missing out on a lot of opportunities to travel to Europe and attend these other events. They weren't in the RMRs.
Michael, you're giving them a lot of sympathy. All I hear is they're not winning.
Yeah, and they're not. That's true.
Well, they might change that, and Annihilation's demise is certainly going to be helping. Dobu, what an entry from him. Not necessarily the player you attribute those entries to, and Myros, he's like a little bit surprising so far. 4-1, and a lot of these are quite impactful.
Oh, counter kill there from Score, and trying to reposition onto the balcony. That's very greedy to have gone for, but had he been able to escape, it would have been another freebie lined up. Cabal full flashed and can do nothing. Techno still on -1.
I'm loving this Dobu we're seeing, by the way. This is
Yeah,
completely
super
different from
aggressive.
a normal playstyle.
You've seen some good work from Dobu on Inferno in the past.
Yeah. Generally speaking, it's been between him and XigN about different extremities that they're going to be playing up. This is playing with the pack and going first or second from Dobu. That's really interesting. I definitely would like to say I didn't expect it, but love the impact it's having at least.
I will say from what I can ascertain, the real fundamentals of like getting into bomb sites on the execute and, you know, running with a tempo into bomb sites feels in some ways more refined out of this version of NKT. I think we definitely saw some more highlights from extremities players or I guess like the lurker in XigN, or you maybe put a bit more importance on players like Kents or Dobu to be a bit more explosive. The way this has all worked out in these opening 5 rounds, they feel non-dramatic. It's all about trading, spacing, and taking the site afterwards, and then just throwing a few bits of utility in there to make the fights a little bit easier to manage. It's looking good so far here from NKT, and IHC have yet to find a response that is suited to deal with it. This is quite a nasty crossfire set up on a banana, but Molotov is pretty well placed. They'll have an indicator that somebody was logs. And
Oh, good night.
do they have another one? That would certainly seal the deal. No, they don't.
Techno's already -1 man. Come on, be nice. Well, unfortunately, on the jiggles we'll find absolutely nothing. Generally a player whose mag 7 has been praised pretty often. This time though, Techno as well will end up falling, traded out very soon after Urkast. Finds 2 crucial kills in Banana, and they're still content to freeze and wait for the CTs to try and make a move, and that move has been punished.
Still concerned about somebody making some sort of progress over at B. I think Urkast clears this. I feel like he's just so dialed in, making sure that nothing goes by unchecked. Knew that they regressed, so if there was one player there, the likeliness that the second is also pretty high. Score is all the way on the other side of the map, and another round where NKT will find success. They did lose a player. I think, was it Dobu who died? Either way. 4 players survive here for NKT. They've just been slowly grinding, slowly building up that money. 4 kills from Urkast in this round, but they have been fine to just trade players as resources and simply finish off rounds. And we haven't seen IHC in with many fighting chances. This is actually kind of... It's strange to witness it go so one-sidedly. Usually this is quite a brawl between these two squads.
Look, if we've got Urka showing up, if we've got dobu showing up, if we've got Myrul somehow getting a couple of crucial kills.
Somehow showing up.
I'm just like, he's shown up in ways that we didn't think so, as in he actually is playing. But hey, he's kind of showing up one way or another.
Yeah, he's gotten his trades.
Global's taken down, and that's a great start. One of the very first few major advantages we've seen from IHC, rather.
Yeah, you got the pick on the Annihilation AWP as well down middle, so
On the 9,
5 on 3 is pretty considerable. There's no way this one can go wrong. NKT have been trading pretty well moving into bomb sites, but now they don't have the numbers to trade. Nine DC'd. That was why there were 5 players on the HUD, but there were only 4 actual players in the server.
Also, why the skills have been reset.
Mm-hmm.
You can keep track of those later on.
But after rejoining, he dies instantly, so...
Poor guy.
Sometimes it's really as rough as that.
Very hard to force Annihilation off this angle over here. They do have a Molotov available for Myros, but to actually commit that would mean that it is an immediate indication of fighting for brackets. Now, do they want to give that at 30 seconds with score in a decent position to rotate, even if they don't necessarily know that? Well, no, they want to give over the ball, which is also going to do the exact same thing. Myros was sent to lurk back in the apartments instead. Not a single kill found, and a clean first victory for IHC.
Yeah, all it took was them finding a couple of opening kills, and suddenly NKT were stopped in place. Again, if they have no bodies to trade, it becomes a lot more difficult here for NKT to find success, and like you were talking about, resources also quite difficult. Alright, IHC on board, and hopefully they'll find more openings like it when they've allowed NKT to dictate the flow of this game. They've certainly felt like they're on the back foot. But now with maybe setting an early precedent, you know, being able to win that fight over at Banana with the amount of utility, NKT will bow out of that duel at the start of this round. The aggro stuff in the apartments, this could be where they find more success. We saw the AWP shot from Annihilation previously on Design. A slightly different angle, and actually finds a good timing to take the angle deep. Zine might just have given this one over.
Oh, misses it out completely.
That's a wide swing.
Big kill to find. Annihilation's been getting the better of Zine a few times over now. Well, rather, the better of whoever he's dueling initially, at least.
Don't do it, Technote. Don't go further.
Careful. They are looking to set up, but dobu's been the first casualty, so the response is there. A 4-on-4 found once again. A lot of noise made in Banana as well, but despite that, the CTs are still split 2-0-2. Blitz has an incendiary. You've got a grenade and a flashbang from Score. Blitz misses out on a big opportunity. Urkos stays alive. Score throws himself off, trying to take the duel before the smoke will bloom, and Myrals is there to try, and Blitz is the next casualty. All right, Mr. Coach, still got some moves.
Oh my god, that position from Urkos is very one and done, but enough to get confirmation on Cabal's position. Molotov will do nothing. He gets ahead of it, and Cabal able to find the first kill. It has to be Myrals, and he can't do it. Cabal comes in clutch, and so quick on this retake, it will be a second IHC round.
That is a little bit egregious from Urkos, though, I have to say, just because if you're literally like 2 steps behind, you can duck out after getting the first kill and you don't die there. Or maybe at least you buy a bit more time. It's a small thing, but that does feel like the pivoting point of the round, actually. He had time to back off as well, it seems like.
Yeah, I think he maybe realized a little too late and didn't want to get caught sort of moving with the AWP and missing the shot, so he just stood his ground like a statue. And he didn't have health to trade. It does seem a little ridiculous, but I think in context, it's all good. You got information, you got a kill. Cabal just was too smooth re-entering to that A site. And honestly, good effort from Myrals. I mean, I was surprised he got those 2 headshots, but unable to get anything going at the start of this round. NKT, the score show in the apartments, doesn't take a lick of damage. Dude, he's good.
You can't live up to the main man himself. Sorry, Score. This is Myral's territory.
Why is he a coach?
God. Leading the scoreboard right now across the entire server. Obviously, Mashton, you know, has a few more people in 7 kills, but... So he's leading the scoreboard.
Yeah, I mean, just, you know, his kills look clean.
Will agree about that at the very least. Annihilation still.
Oh,
Miss, but a re-peek and a second on top. Annihilation is a man to rectify mistakes, and right now he's made a few of those, but fortunately they will be okay. 9, not quite clearing out the angle appropriately, and after the first whiff isn't able to punish.
yeah, that could have been very dangerous if 9 was able to find the kill in response, but good effort there from Annihilation to keep his wits about him. Kept a cool hand after the initial miss. Yeah, trading wasn't really the name of the game there for NKT. They lost too many numbers too quick. Opener from Score. They've been changing up how they've been getting aggressive into these apartments, and we've definitely seen that be a weapon for NKT on T sides of Inferno before. Double nade down middle, I think, has caught a lot of damage onto Annihilation. Actually, might have been a singular and a little bit of spam, but either way, the damage is done. Sitting on 8 HP, and they want to burst out into the A site. Score finding the first wall full blind, and they're trying to chase him down, but Score running out of ammo. Blitz is the one to cover him off, and Annihilation still hasn't been dealt with on the bomb site, so finding one with that AWP, but Urkas tracking him down, SMG in hand. Score sitting on top of that bomb, so they need to flush him out of position. The nade does so much damage, and Urkas will finish off the job, but Urkas with the AWP, he's going on a tear. Got first with that Mac, and now a couple on the scope weapon. Cabal repositioning to try and catch them out.
This could be a fantastic timing. Remember, the bomb is still in pit, so NKT are just hoping that maybe Cabal will bite into the possibility of a B-side rotate. Molotov is perfect. That's exactly what they needed to allow them, but they're still having to check everything. Will they? They haven't moved the bomb. Not quite yet, at the very least. Aircast doesn't even take the opportunity to try and cover off apartments because he's worried about long presence in the meanwhile. Instead, 9 will make his way over, nest it away, and Urkas will find the frag. This is such a tumultuous round, but when Urkas has got the AWP, it seems like everything is A-okay.
Yeah, I mean, great job from Urkas. Took that right off the warm hands of Annihilation, and he just kept swinging into them, taking fights and winning them with that AWP. He just looked so smooth.
Honestly, 9 is just sweating over here. You'd think Kens is the one thinking, oh no, Myrals is having a performance. Urkas is taking over the off.
Urkas stealing my job too.
And Myrals is a coach, so he can IGL, alright? So, roll shuffles if possible, 9. Watch out, you better get this kill soon. 9, of course, is having a bit of a rougher game right now. Hopefully he can start to come back over. 9, definitely a big role player in Mongolia as an op. Full banana presence taken over, and they've done this before, but Annihilation's op kill in middle makes it a lot more difficult to have a double crossfire ready to intercept any further progression. That's not what you want to do. Information of the ball might have just been given up over there. Molotov's very good, but they do have the smokes necessary to try and force it out. 9 in the meanwhile, there's a Molotov and a jump up that is punished. Doesn't know that Cabal is still there, though, and that could be a problem, but the A-side execution is on. 9 is gone, the bomb right there with him. 45 on the clock. He wasn't expecting Cabal close. and gets punished as a result. Annihilation could even catch a timing where XigN is still sitting inside the smoke and lurking. Annihilation has to be careful if he's looking to round the corner. Could still end up being punished, but with 30 seconds, NKT are still undecided about where to go. And a shot from Annihilation will seal their fate. It's going to be B, and as the duel will come through and be traded, Myros can't make it onto the bomb site in time to get the plant without getting at least one kill. Blitz is here to try and prevent that. Myros doesn't quite check the angle in time, and Blitz will find the frag.
Yeah, having no smoke to cross there in a 1v3 is just super difficult. You needed something to section off the site in some capacity, but great effort here from Annihilation all in all. I mean, gets a couple of kills in this round, opened up onto Urcast, but then also dealing with the lurk. Like you said, it did seal the fate for NKT. They had to go to the B bomb side at that point or another, but I've just been really satisfied watching Annihilation on the CT side, because I remember when we looked at them previously on NKT, it felt like he was being held back. You know, he was leashed up and tied to a fence post, but now he's just able to take these fights however he wants to, and whatever timings he wants to, and that's where he's at his most deadly.
He's not feeling himself right now. I have to say, I was actually not too happy with Annihilation on IHC either initially when he first joined. Just felt like he was, and you know, we had this conversation about Opera sometimes, all the time. Just felt like he was better with the rifle. That, dude, you're clearly a god with the M4 and the AK. Just don't need to use the op necessarily, but you can definitely see his old D13 form coming back into it a little bit.
Yeah, he definitely captured an audience for just how hyper-aggressive he was.
And I do think that operas like him and Dan King are the kind of people who, you know, if you're going international, they're not going to win your tournament. They're going to give you a big upset win, though.
Definitely agree. He's like, if people maybe watch more European CS, he's like Anarchez, the way he repeaks, but maybe hits more shots. That's...
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like you really just done Annihilation dirty there.
Anarchez is playing European people all the time, so it's hard to hit those shots. The movement's different. Yep, that's the copium. That's...
Well, Deep Brains won't actually find anything. Dobu's got a lot of space, but now he's been spotted out of Molotov nearby. Grenades at his feet as well. But he might still be able to find something. Annihilation's coming up. His teammates, they are lucky to have a scope like that watching out for them.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they have a third man there is the real saving grace, because Dobu shouldn't have been alive, and he somehow made it past the first two players. They're getting a lot of territory over to the brackets, but they know that that was the vulnerability they left themselves open to with the initial B start. Spoke for long, but Techno will maintain vision, and Nine's taking a lot of damage. This is not a fair fight.
NKT's definitely been put to a hold ever since Annihilation's been able to get himself into this form. They've got control over long. They know there's no one coming in from there. The NKT short funnel is about to be met with a lot of aggression. Score, tagged up inside the smoke. They've definitely heard it, but Blitz around the corner on the bomb side moves in for another one. It's going to be their attempt on their trade, but Urkos isn't getting it this time. XigN, the only person to find a kill on this progression to the A bomb site, and it's still only just the one. Position now sussed out. Techno and Blitz on the other side, about to be accompanied by Annihilation's op as well. Techno will just shut him down at the end of the day. This is IHC climbing their way back to relevancy.
Yeah, definitely having a massive resurgence here on the CT side. NKT got off to such a good lead to kick off this half. To now have that be clawed away from them is obviously not ideal. See the money coming into this next round, IHC are very likely to tie. Shouldn't see too heavy an investment from the... I don't even know how to categorize them. Southeast Asian, rest of Asian squad?
The Roa.
The Roa.
The Roa.
I feel like something out of Lord of the Rings.
A little bit of that. I feel like it sounds a little bit more like Moana, to be honest.
Moria.
Moria. The mines.
But yes, the NKT squad are in a poor economic situation.
I'm sorry. I'm just gonna spend a minute laughing at my own dumb reference.
Roa Moana.
Fast B play is the name of the game. The game's been burnt. It's been chucked in the bin. This is a cold winter night made a little bit warmer.
That is probably quite intimidating as well. Follow-up nade is pretty on point. Geometry has kept, I think, XigN and dobu alive, but they were nearby. What is Cabal up to? I think he wanted to grab hold of that AK and like pull it away.
Another M4?
No, he didn't pick up. I mean, he threw. That was the M4 he threw initially. He just left the AK. His arms weren't long enough.
Annihilation's about to get out of the way. He's been so good in brackets. Every single time this man repeats here, and he just gets everything done. The USB is not enough, though. And perhaps this is where XigN can try and pull off a miracle, as he has realized that Blitz is around in the vicinity. I think it's a teammate that gave the call that he heard a footstep, but footstep or not, Blitz is going to behead him.
Could have seen an argument for him to throw the AWP away, but considering it's the last round of the half we are entering into now, would have been afforded anyway by Annihilation himself. That's something to consider for your games, perhaps, if the score is not so close. 7-7, we'll see who decides to take the lead going into the second half. Winning is a choice. NKT have not been given many choices, though, with the way IHC have started off a lot of these rounds. And that small gap around the bottom banana smoke, that's not something NKT actually have confirmation of. Nobody's decided to look at this. I think dobu realized just as he was lining up that nade that he was very vulnerable if he overexposed himself.
One more round for NKT would give them so much to work off of. These past 7 have been rough. They've lost 6 out of 7. Rather, actually, 7 out of 8. Never mind. Not what you want to see. Techno peeking out forward. Urka's caught looking around. Techno's been caught off so many times in cubbies. This time he's able to find them, clearing out his old watering hole. XigN mollied off position while Annihilation will continue to live true to his name over in brackets.
We haven't seen IHC lose a 5-on-3. Not this half. Maybe this series we will find one. But it's looking like they might just secure themselves an 8th. 15 seconds, NKT have to really get a move on, and Annihilation will hit the first shot. Score is here to cover off his retreat, and they just don't have the time to hold up and look for all these angles, so they will finish off the job. An 8-7 half on the defensive here for IHC. We'll see how things manage in the second half, and whether NKT can pull back a lead themselves after the break.
A shaky start, but you wouldn't know it if you'd seen their performance in that second quarter. IHC win 8 out of 9 rounds to end that half.
Yeah, started off 0-6, but able to recover it to an 8-7 scoreline. So this is looking up and up here for IHC. We'll see if that T-side pistol can be converted as well, because they can just keep the good times rolling. Though we might put a stop to those good times, though. He's got the dualies and he's got armor, so this was dropped on over to him.
Double knight avoided. Oh, what?
They don't clear
check it?
Uh-oh.
You're kidding me.
What?
Finally, they're able to find the kill. dobu's trigger discipline is punished instead. A small part of me would like to think that maybe that was a plan all along, but surely not. The spam through the smoke looks almost on point, but almost ain't good enough cost. Forced off the angle, and Myro's good as he might have been. It's Blitz having stolen dobu's dualies and turning them around right on top of the coach. 9. In the meanwhile, watching out for any sort of aggression to come through, any sort of possibility.
Well, the kill from the smoke from Blitz is unideal, and Ilzine couldn't get his dualies engaged. He doesn't have armor, and so we'll try and take these fights just straight up, and we'll be good for one, but that will be it. IHC take the pistol. That was a very strange-looking state of affairs.
Like you said, dobu wants to put a stop to the good times. He did put a stop to the good times. He was 7-2 before. Those good times stopped a long time ago. He's 8-12 now.
Yeah, well, here's the thing as well. It was a team flash that came, because it was there to try and slow down the T's. But all it did was mess dobu up, because he was looking at these players with trigger discipline. It is a resounding shame. But comms break down, and pistol round will be taken. Force buy is in for NKT. Whole load of pistols. I hate the dualies on a force buy. You are going to get way better effectiveness out of other pistols, surely.
What are you trying to say? The P250 being the exact same price and so much better in accuracy for first bullet and
damage.
Distance and damage is no, Michael. Stop points.
Just the spam. Well, nobody think of all the spam you can do with the dualies, I guess. Yeah, I think most people would prioritize the time to kill, but not 9. We'll see if he actually pulls off something with it to make me eat my words. IHC are grouping themselves over to B, and 9 has made his way over as well, so he will be here in time to support, and maybe he can get this spam to go his way. 30 bullets in each of those pistols, and, well, he gets a resounding nothing. Some damage has been done from NKT, that's for sure, and maybe 9 just converts on these frags.
I'll have you know there's actually 15 bullets in each of the pistols, Michael.
Sorry, yes, that is true. When it came out of my mouth, I was like, wait, that's not accurate.
I had to double check to see if there's actually 60 total. Flashbangs being lined up to try and go for the retake. This is where you're hoping for a miracle, but really no one's answering the phone. 9 is at the very least going to try and go for one, and no. He did the one and done, but he skipped some steps in the middle.
Yeah, it says he is 3-10, but I think he has 5 more kills that aren't accounted for. So
I will let you know in just a second.
I think it's 8. I think he's at 8.
He was an 8 when that round began, and he had 0 kills in that round.
Yeah, so he's at 8.
dobu's really dropped off a cliff, though.
I think many players have. It's been a while since they've been in winning ways. And so quite a few clean rounds from IHC. This might be another one as well. Pistols round down mid and found a whole lot of nothing. 9 actually did get his kill. Never mind. Let's chasing him down.
Interested to see whether Annihilation goes for the orb or not, though. Okay. I was about to say, surely he does.
Just the dualies? This is a bold move.
That's the ultimate Annihilation move as well. You can completely expect it from him. But instead, decides to stick to ye old faithful. Hold a hairline angle, and that hairline's been punished. 9 will be able to come out on top. That duel down mid hadn't been going his way for the past, well, long time.
For the past long time, that is true. Good molly in response here to the moves into IHC, but doesn't go quite deep enough. Techno was the only one that actually scaled out past it. That's a scene where he's stuck behind the utility, and Urkas trying to reposition around. Does take a dink from score, but the flashes are good on the retake here for the CTs. They haven't given up this bomb site, and they will continue to fight and make sure it's as difficult as possible. Just leaving Blitz alone. AWP in hand, and will be a double swung, so 1 for 1 is fine by them. NKT finally breaking past the curse of this IHC comeback.
I'm really surprised Annihilation loses that duel, so good to see 9 getting back into it, that's for sure.
Could be one of the problems with taking such a slim angle. We see the same issue in sort of Mirage B apartments. If you get up on the balcony, you try and peer all the way down, you actually sometimes just don't find all of the damage, and even though you have enough time to react, you want to make sure that bullet connects fully. Don't want to tag them through the edge, otherwise you tag them and they bag you. Wow, did 9 do that all while partially blind? Looked like it. Quickscope on Techno did connect and tag him down to 19 HP. So they know that AWP is situated over on the B bomb side, but what are they going to do about it? NKT have 4 over at A in response, and are hoping that 9 can lock down any sort of B effort. They're looking for any NKT aggression here. Right now, they ain't moving much. Still holding some good crossfires and bait setups over the brackets. And IHC are re-investigating Banana. If they do target the 9 AWP and find him quick, that would have been nice. But now Urkas is moving in to reinforce that spot. Good little push-pull here from IHC. They refocus onto brackets as NKT gave up one more man on the rotation to be 30 seconds. IHC will be able to set up for this execute nice and quick, but they'll have to find these kills rather rapid as well.
Oh, big fall-up over there as well. My rolls now. Oh, lineup comes in. My roll's able to find the last remaining hope that IHC have.
Oh,
even finds another on top of it. Okay, back to Mr. Apartments.
yeah, I thought Annihilation was just going to get out of there, but he's held around Boiler to maybe get one more kill, but Myro's punishing it, so great effort for a 3K there. It's a little convenient that they lined up on the first burst, but the follow-up is even nicer. I will say, I haven't been as impressed with IHC as I have in other tournament ventures. The playoffs have not treated them well. They got dismantled by Raft, in all honesty. And even on this comeback, while the rounds have been looking good, I think you maybe fault some of the strategies from NKT more than anything else. Things really broke down when IHC just won round after round, but now IHC are entering the back burner. Ooh, lovely shot by Annihilation.
That could be the end of it all. He is hoping against hope that he doesn't end up being taken down. Somehow he stays alive. I honestly thought he was just going to die there because of the AK tracers.
Yeah, it could have been spammed, but pistol spamming back is not the easiest shot to hit either. Well, I think it's time to resign. Design. Double digits now for NKT.
Still some fight left in them, that's for sure. Annihilation won't be able to afford up the op in this one either, so 9 should have that small advantage. The question is, does he want to try and make something off it? Spawn's not the best to try and go for a pick anywhere, so we'd like to see how he does this.
Seems like 9 will be heading to short to kick things off. Won't be taking the challenge down middle. They have like no flashes here on the IHC side, so this is a little concerning when it comes to breaking into the bomb site. Any opening flashes they would have had would have been used up in the opening 15 seconds. I think we were talking during the halftime break, just the idea that there were a few times where Annihilation had that AWP and he wasn't threatened by a flash or a Molotov. If 9 gets into some good spots himself, he shouldn't be threatened by them either.
Indeed. They've really slowed this down. They're hoping so much that the CTs end up using all their util, or that they just make a major mistake. But because of this boost, they know that that util wasn't thrown from close by at the car. They have that sound for a lack of. 9 is missing his first one, re-peeking back out over. There's going to be more coming his way, and that's a second miss that's going to be punished. Techno to take him down, and Myros is hoping to be able to flash up his teammates so that XigN can make some waves over in Arches. It's a quick spot on the Capone. Myros trying to move back into the apartments as well, unable to find anything off it. Score Annihilation, bring it back to a 2-on-2, and they've got control of the bomb site. That is just shots being missed.
Yeah, I mean, good effort from XigN as well to deal with the long pressure. This will leave IHC somewhat in the dark about where these players are relocating from and where they're retaking from. About whether they clear the apartment's flank. It's being held for at the moment, and Score walks right into it. Urcast, great patience, now just leaving Annihilation on the bomb site, and round the pillar, he will dance, and Annihilation hitting the first headshot. Urcast cannot convert, but it's a dink onto Urcast, but not the full kill. It's the in-game leader that comes in clutch for NKT.
That's a shot through the box, but you can see what I meant by sometimes we just say Annihilation, why don't we just use an AK? That first bullet was crisp, second one as well, could have just ended up taking him out if not for just a slight verticality that adds the wallbang element to it. Even so, IHC do so much more than they had any right to be able to do in that position. I cannot believe 9 goes for that shot 3 times, only lands it once. That shot, you know, those repeats from an op, that's sort of an example of the equivalent of pretty privilege in Counter-Strike. We will forgive you, talent, analysts, everyone will forgive you if you land the shot. They might tell you, yeah, but that's not really technical, but whatever, man, it's cool kills. But whenever you get punished so hard for it, that your team gets given a real opportunity to just lose a round that should be yours entirely, yeah, that's when you're going to hear about it, that's for sure. It's
also just not very on trend for 9 to go for fights like that. You know, usually, if I were to compare 9 and Annihilation versus each other, 9 is definitely the more textbook AWPer, like the way that he moves around the map, the way he prioritizes angles. I feel like 9 has that one on lock, so for him to have gone for so many repeaks is a little bit uncharacteristic for him, and I always wonder whether this is part of the sort of the rivalry between these two, because they swap teams, because IHC continue to find success with this Mongolian core, and he was benched from the squad, like he was removed, and they decided Annihilation was the way they wanted to go, that he might just decide like, okay, you wanted Annihilation, I'll give you Annihilation, but my version.
If that's his version where he drops down from a run boost, I don't want it.
I mean, it's just, maybe, you know, he's still working on it, but
that's not his fault. That's a player underneath who messed up the planning. Generally is the rule of thumb. At least for that one.
Mm-hmm. The narrow bullet dodged last round by NKT. Came down to 1 survivor. Well, their money is still good to buy up in the next round should they lose one soon. Still sets them up for disaster moving forward if IHC are able to find a couple rounds of consistency. This isn't a round that we're looking at and thinking it's going to happen, but certainly could. Pistols up close, and XigN is still hovering around short. We do have 4 players here, though.
Oh, lineup comes through. Zion is just beautiful. He is ripping them apart. The smoke on long dissipates as well, so Urkos can get involved. Cabal's the only person with a kill, but a single casualty is something they are more than willing to bear.
Nice. Minimal casualties. Dealing with the pistols. Looked rather simple when it came down to the fights in the end. NKT squeaking back into the lead. Something they lost coming into this half, but have recovered nicely. AWP for Annihilation now, so he can take this head-to-head.
Bomb moves up and out. Wow, that's a nade that does a lot less damage than I thought it would. Looked like a sitter. Meanwhile, score has been taken down. dobu boosted up. Good position to be holding. Spots out Cabal, but now he's revealed his spot. Urkos still close to line, has to hide away from the spam possibilities. They are spamming right back. Urkos is the way to fall regardless. Cabal knows he hasn't backed off yet.
Urkos was really hoping that they'd be able to get away with that dobu fighting in front of the smoke, but will get dropped. Zion is too late to the party. So it will come down to a 3-on-3. They are tagged up on the IHC side. Blitz is low while taking room, though. And if he wins this duel, would certainly give his team more than a fighting chance. Would just buy so much more time.
Cabal's got the perfect lineup over here. He should be able to just make the work. Models is going. Zion on the other side, trying to swing. Cabal's got it. Done. I think there was a gap in the smoke on the banana side because Annihilation's actually the person who stood on top of sandbags to kill dobu. Otherwise, that looked like they didn't have the flashes necessary to actually move in on time to get to the bomb site before the rotations were there. That's a big mistake.
Yeah, the entrance to B smoke had a big gap around the side of it.
Yeah.
Some blunders, certainly, here from NKT, but IHC punished very effectively. See how big that gap is. But Urkos lingering around the first oranges and still playing in front of it ended up being punished. That just looked like a hard read, and just making sure that if they were going to run through that smoke, they didn't have to deal with the close left angle.
Oh, and Annihilation's got it this time. He's got the better spawn, and 9 will end up suffering as a result of it. Really appreciate that wide swing out mid. That's definitely just recognition of spawns.
Yeah, allows you to take the fight. Just have the fight come to you. Oh my goodness. Myrals thought he might have been able to escape with that, but look at the scaling flashes as well. It's perfect. Zion had no idea. He had no confirmation on how many numbers got out, and when he peeked his head up, he was immediately decapitated.
Cabal's had a real doozy of a second half so far. Double kill over here as well as essentially what gives them that round. The first one on the Myrals was disgusting.
The challenges, the back and forth. It finally activated. Seen some streaks so far this game. 6-0 start for NKT and then 8-7 at the end for IHC. Now that we end up in the, I'd say, the last quarter of this game. We are getting a bit more neck and neck. And saving these weapons is important here for NKT. Oh, even the AWP making its way down. All according to plan. They can just about cobble together a full buy with this.
9 does also have a really good spawn, so I'd like to see whether he contests for mid this time or not. Decides against it. Instead, it'll be a quick shot to banana that they're trying to go for, but a early smoke and a read from IHC is what forces 9's early position to be completely ineffective. Blackbird don't even pursue it. He's cut them off. Techno down. dobu. Grenade is going to go deep, and Cabal, I think, it collided with him. So dobu knows the approximate position of where the man should be. Now as he's trying to get aggressive from behind, Annihilation spam just catches him off, completely bringing him down.
Oh man, it's like he knows him too well or something. I mean, just shot through as soon as his teammate Cabal got out of there. And that was just the parting gift. Nine does have Blitz locked in, but the Molotov will make this more difficult. Nine should be forced off of the angle and won't be allowed to peek into it. 4-on-4 and IHC are taking over the brackets.
Takes too long and he's shown off his elbow. A sin. An absolute sin against Nine's AWP. At the very least, Annihilation is able to return fire, so once again you're in an even stalemate with this A-bomb site presence being what IHC has relied on to get so many rounds. Look at what Nine is doing, though. Repositions onto the site itself. They are sticking to the turtle. They want to give Myros a bit more space to take these duels at his own comfort, but the problem is that opens things up for Score to come in from behind. Could end up catching him out completely. Myros is gone, and an off angle, more like an angle that reaches off, and Nine. Shot is missed. Score shuts him down. NKT, dire straits.
Yeah, and this just looks like error after error. I mean, you can see just how easy that they made that look as well on IHC. I mean, you're exposing yourself to the R trap when you know you've given up long control and there's nobody there to hold it for you. Those are mistakes that just simply cannot happen. The Molotov does not spread to the entirety of pit. You could have exposed yourself to maybe short, but you just have to try and take those fights. Getting completely shot at an angle that you have no feasibility of fighting back is simply silly. Now you'd see moving past another opener that looked a little difficult. You saw the priorities to take some fast banana control work out for NKT. We've seen Cabal or Techno just run with spawns to be super aggressive in that area, so it actually made a lot of sense for them to open up in that way. But then the mid-rounding there from IHC just works out flawlessly. They take brackets, they take long, and NKT each time feel like they have to fall back further and further into the sites.
Can Urkos be a hero? Not yet. Maybe another time.
Yeah, the only weapon they had to bring into this round. Gone. And they nade it further. They nade it back, so it's irretrievable. I really like that attention to detail.
Not that there's anyone nearby who can actually try and go for a recovery mission. Nine is learning that there is such a thing as Molotovs in their brackets. NKT is just furiously scribbling down notes. Okay, Molly off bracket angles. Through the smoke.
We'll have the flank covered as well, and we'll take a dink. No, he didn't want to try and finish off the ace. Knows it's against an eco, so it doesn't matter. That's why he's not chasing. But 15th here for IHC. This map has been a little back and forth, but only as far as streaks have gone. When we've witnessed the comeback for IHC, or like even that opening start for NKT, the teams honestly just look flawless. Like they were calling great, they were hitting some fantastic shots, and then the shoot suddenly turns onto the other foot, and IHC are running away into that finish line. NKT's feet are treading gravel, and it hurts.
They do have an ult for 9 at the very least, but that's going to be accompanied by either just a Kevlar or a smoke double flash, neither one of which is ideal. Banana Control's not been giving them anything to work off of, but they're still going to be prioritizing 3 players on this angle. IHC, generally speaking, have been content to just molly off and at times smoke and retake. It's a fast brackets take, and the grenade's going to do nothing, absolutely nothing. Myros is going to be brought into order, and he has come through big time. 3 massive frags, and it's a flashbang to help set up XigN. Cleans it up, and IHC will not be able to use that change of pace at all.
Wow, man. I mean, if there's anything to take away from this game, Myros has been impressive. This guy has not been active as a player for at least a year, from my understanding, and he looks good. He's performing his roles and does a fantastic job just understanding exactly where he needs to be. After he gets that double kill, doesn't just simply wait for any re-aggression. Took the initiative and even just pushing in for even more. So maybe not completely down the dumps. I think when we look at the head-to-head on the AWPers, it's fair to say Annihilation has won. Can add 5 more kills to 9's tally, but still not even close.
Oh, immediately overrun. Techno is able to move through the smoke and somehow actually finds a kill. Didn't look like that'd be a real possibility, but 9 now. Deep Nade will be forcing him off the angle.
Still pretending to fight for it here, IHC. They feel like they've found a vulnerability on the A site. Continue to target it. XigN will actually move into the flames to take that duel. That is perfectly placed. The headshot, and Myros is right there behind him. They've given up the bomb site to do this, but they gun down everyone before they can make it in. Now just score a 1-on-4, and too hard to deal with. Surely the spray transfer is lovely, but down to 15 HP, and 9's already covering off the angle. So while you might escape the clutches of the riflers, the ult will strike true. We're going all 30 here on our first map of NKT IHC.
Feels like we might be going even further than that with the way the economy is looking for this T side. You even see the initial entries working out for them despite Urkost's demise. They're just not able to capitalize off of it. This A site change-up is faring very well for NKT. They've generally been struggling more when IHC grinds the clock down to that 20-second mark where Myros tries to go for an off angle, something like that, where he can be caught out more. When he's free to take the duels in ordinary circumstances, like you said, man, he's not been missing too many beats.
That play, aggressive Banana, and 9's been gunned down. Cabal's taking a lot of bombardment, but in at the sandbags, Urkast can trade. So we'll start 1-for-1. No one was there to accompany all this aggression from Cabal, but Blitz is taking some room at the brackets.
Oh, he's found the perfect timing as well. XigN just turned away. Blitz is going to be able to move in and actually start to circle back towards the B bomb site, not spotted out at all, and he knows it. And with this rotation from Urkost having been sussed out, he has fully heard it. He could even just choose not to. Oh my god, he no, he turns around! Urkost! The gods have been kind to him! Give it a second chance in so many ways. NKT takes him back, and now he'll take that second chance to clear out that angle. Around that could have been gone, but it still might well be. Urkost finally eliminated. Smoke down, dobu, up crane, will be gray screen off. The shot fire now reveals its presence. The Molotov has a gap in the side, and it's Techno. The move scores the one to find the frags. He's got all 3. IHC, what a way to do it. 16-14. They closed out NKT's map pick. We're off to a break, and when we're back, we'll be breaking it down and looking at what comes next.